That's a brave dragonfly there. I think they're getting used to me. What do you think, Chloe? Better get back to the shop, huh? Yeah, we're heading around to get back to the shop. I'm gonna watch the dragonflies though. Okay. Only one duck in the duck pond today. Hey, good morning. Let's change a wheel on a tool and cutter grinder. I'll show you how. Okay, this side here is the left-hand hub. It says left hand. You're gonna have to excuse my weak voice. It's smoky out, and my voice got damaged from 11 surgeries. They shoved that crap down your throat. My voice has never been the same, so a little smoke makes me pretty hoarse. Now, I'm working on the sound thing, and I'll explain that a little bit. Okay, so on the back of the hub here is 2 pinholes, and so you make a device, you know, just it's got a knob on it and a 1/4 inch thing, so that'll fit into that hole here. So you look at the hub and it says left hand, so that means it'll come loose tightening it. See, just like that. And this is a vitrified wheel. I'm going to replace it with a diamond wheel. And it's got a washer. These are Sopco hubs. They're not Cincinnati. And it's got a washer with 2 keyways on it. So you can run the wheels backwards, okay? So we'll pull this wheel off. And of course, you know, when you put a new vitrified wheel on, you ring it. Hear that ring? If the wheel was cracked, it would go thud, thud. Not that, okay? So we'll put a diamond wheel on. We don't need to ring them, but they ring great, don't they? Okay, so we'll put that on there. That's a piece of aluminum disc with a pretty good generous layer of carbide matrix on there. Not carbide, but diamond. And we'll get this on there. And we go backwards. Now I use this end here for hand radiusing the nose on my lathe tools. I'm going to do something about getting one of those monoset type grinders later. I found a small version of one. It's in a good place. It'll be there for a while. Maybe I can fit it in next year. Okay, so this is my rest here. And I can flip this around. Let me flip it around. And then raise this up. Let's see. Get it back. Raise that on up. And then this little top's adjustable here to get that tool on there and work a nose radius. Okay? Okay, we'll go around the front side here. Now around the front, this is the way I have this set up now. Now, for years and years, this is the only head I had. This is the standard work head. Now, this end is 50 taper, and this end, this is an older head, so it's Brown Sharpe, I think a number 12. And what I did is I reworked a lathe collet adapter sleeve, 5C. Ground the outside, holding this thing in a solid collet going backwards, okay, on this workhead in a chuck. And I ground the OD of that to slip into that Brown Sharpe taper. And then I ground the 5C mount here. I got it all within 1/1000th and just ground it in place on this grinder, using a tool post grinder with the internal attachments. Now, internal attachments for a Cincinnati tool and cutter grinder are extremely rare. And that's one of the reasons people adapted the old tool post grinder. Of course, this is my shop-made grinder with improved spindles, because I improve things. Okay, so that's what I used to use all the time. This flips around. I have a motor on here that drives it. And I found I really need this. If I had only one, it would have to be this head. Okay? So before I was grinding cutter in this arbor here, I left everything in place almost. Tailstock, that. And what I did remove is, what is it? Down there, the finger assembly, right? And that'll go right back on the table and be right at center height. The only other fixture I have is from the plastic mold shop, and it's this Harig air spindle for grinding endmills. Okay, back on top here. Now, I was working on the milling machine here. Now I got something to do on the lathe. So I'm setting the machine up for doing lathe tools. See, I got a lathe tool here. You see, I cut them short. These are finished tools. They don't need to be long. There's not that much stress on them. So I cut them short because it's easy. Otherwise, I'd have to do it like that. So, you know, I got it so I can do them no matter how the head's positioned. Before I had this, I flipped this head around and used the 5C end. This is 5C here, and held the vise in this fixture. Okay. Now I've got this indexing universal All Tool Rotadex. It'll take you a while to find one of those. Took me 30 years. Okay. And it was right in the place where I first saw it, at the plastic mold shop. Now it's here, thanks to Rob at the mold shop for donating this so you can learn some things. Otherwise, this thing would be out there with the hooligans trying to make money. Okay. So it's here in this learning environment. Isn't that sweet? Look at that thing. Okay, so this will handle the mill right here. That thing, slap that on there, and I can handle small mill cutters like end mills. I can do end mills in this workhead. It gets kind of tricky below 3/4 of an inch because there's a little bit of resistance moving this. You know, this is heavy stuff too super precision. Timken bearing type zeros in there. The last price I saw on these heads was $4,500 in the 1980s. And there's a lot of copies of the heads. There's import ones like Makino and that style. And I think all the attachments are okay for those things. So they're pretty much a copy of this, the Cincinnati. So the Cincinnati is heavy enough you can do cylindrical grinding with it. You can certainly regrind it. You know, it's slow because it doesn't have a lot of power, but you can grind all your tool tapers, including 50. And 50 is a big taper. Big. But this will regrind this. One of these I did regrind. You can buy this 50 and 40 taper tooling cheap from because the CNC machines used it. So they started 40 and 50 tapers around the time this machine. They're still using Brown Sharpe, obviously. And I think it's sometime in the 50s until Cincinnati put a Morse taper 5 in this end. And then you could more readily buy a sleeve, a 5C sleeve. But to get the thing running dead true like I got this, you gotta grind the taper in place. Okay, so this is how that's set up. So that takes care of all that. So this device here will hold these single point cutting tools, adjust them at any angle, any way I want, cut all sides, cut the top, cut everywhere. Perfectly, just, you know, yeah, full control. And that covers the lathe with boring bars, and it covers the Jigborer boring bars. Very important. And another thing I was going to mention about the Jigborer, it's a different machine with specialized spindle bearings that aren't very friendly to side thrust. The whole machine can go into a real shudder. And it's like a normally ground mill cutter in the Jigborer hammers, like bam, 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 every tooth just hammers the machine. So you got to increase the angle on those cutters on the sides, like using that air spindle there, which is going to be nice. And then plus hollow ground. I might demonstrate that. We'll see how that goes. There's not hardly any interest in Jigborers. Okay, and if people want, you want me to get active on Jigborers, you could donate to this channel and put your name. And that might activate me a little more on the Jigborer. Otherwise, I'm only going to use the Jigborer for what I need to do. So I thought I'd clue you in. And now we're at donations. Well, let me tell you this about that. The system on YT, it's not good. The creators get approximately $4 per 1,000 views. So you see the fake clown guy, that fake stuff with CNC machines. People don't like me talking about this, but I'm going to hit him hard one day. I hit him a little bit, but he's going to get it. And like Short Pants got it too. He's not playing with 1080 lathes anymore. And that's another thing. Anybody that insults an American company like Monarch, like these clowns from the Practical Machinists have done, are going to get it. They're going to get it from me. And, if you think you can bully me, it's not working too well. And that's why I get a whole bunch of thumbs down on my channel. And you don't see that on the regular deal. They hide that, YouTube does, because the bullying is so bad that nobody would make videos. That's a real problem. And another problem is too, and everybody's complaining about it, is views on YouTube is down across everything. There's not as many people looking at stuff. And the views on millwrighting machine stuff is way down too. And these people are panicking. They've been doing it, some of them for 10, 12 years, running out of content. They never really had any to begin with. And, if you're working, if you got a goal, and my goal is not making YouTube videos, is getting this shop up and running so I can restore cool antiques, It's not, I'm not out here asking for free machines. I've gotten less than $300 in donations, and what has that done? Well, on the cash donations, it bought these wheels, these diamond wheels off eBay. And I'll tell you, I'm a shark when buying new stuff, man. I got the biggest bang for the buck. And so it's the donations aren't nothing, but they are, and I appreciate it. But it's not nothing in the big scheme of things. If you think about the donations, I got a little over $200, less than $300. You can't even buy a 5-gallon bucket of spindle oil for that. Check those prices out for stuff. It's frightening what's going on. So I'm just saying, there's a guy that's got his bee under the bonnet that I'm just getting all kinds of money for donations. I got a kind person bought me a computer. Smoke was coming out of the old one. Now, I want to tell you, I've made over 640 videos on the DD channel that got hacked by the pissed off people at me. And so I got this one going. I had 3,500 subscribers. This one, I think I got 1,600 or so now. And I'll just keep going. It's not what that's about for me. And I'm going to be honest. I was harassed and bullied by those creeps on that practical machinist forum. And they even got a Texas cop to try to harass me off there, and I finally made him kick me off because I was complaining about the bullying. And I can handle bullying, even a stupid, sawed-off Texas cop. Bring it on. I'm just sick of the bullies on this stuff. And none of these people are real machinists, not a single one of them. That's the way it is. So that's where that's at. And I'm going to keep making videos. You know, I'm going to keep my foot in the deal. But the donations help a lot. They help keep this going. Now, otherwise, I'm going to have to take in a little bit of commercial work. And I learned from that practical machinist forum thing, you don't want anybody to know anything about what you're doing because they'll make phone calls. They will destroy you if they can. The only thing they can't do is bully me to my face. They can't do that. They wouldn't dare do that. I would be entertained if they did that. The driveway is very short. If you feel like you want to get a fistful, come up the driveway. But that's not going to happen. Actually, one of the people on that practical machinist forum got a local veteran biker to try to buzz me. And I ran out there, I'll tell you what, he's never coming back. So bring it on. If you want to play that kind of game, bring it on. But I'm going to continue to ask for donations, and I'm going to continue to do this. But if it comes to a point where I'm going to take in commercial work, the channel goes dark until it's done. I will say nothing about anything I do for any person, only about what I'm doing for myself and improving the shop. But right now I'm not soliciting any work, okay? And I'm very careful about what I take in too. So I'm not asking for machines. People send these other folks machines. I'm trying to get rid of some machines. Actually, this is a good side story here. I had 2 valve grinders I was hanging on to. And I go, well, why am I hanging on to these valve grinders? Because I don't have all these valves to grind. And if I do need to grind valves, this here, in case you didn't know it, this tool and cutter grinder is probably one of the most accurate valve grinders on the planet. You can grind really huge valves on this thing for like giant motors that regular valve grinders won't have. You can do it accurately. Let's see, I think the centerless grinder guarantees 2/10. I think I can do a little better than 1/10. But I know what I'm doing on this whole thing. It's old. This thing is very old. All these machines are old. But I think they're better learning tools than new stuff. I really do. At the community college, they had a lot of old machine and some newer stuff. But they wanted you to learn the old stuff first. And I think that's an important way to go. Now, I appreciate the donations. I hope I explained that. It's not that much. You're watching this video without a commercial. Okay, the DD channel I had commercials on. It was monetized, but I get about 1,000 views, maybe 2,000 views. That's $8, 2,000 views. Now you see some of these fake guys, they get 1 million views. Well, they're gaming the system and the algorithms, all that shit. That's why they're shitty machinists. You know, they can do that, but they can't do this. They fake it. So, okay, this is a reality channel, and I gave you some reality, and we're going to get over here to some meat and potato stuff here. Something that might save your bacon sometime. Okay, a little bit of lapping. And that was one thing that I jumped short pants on is some fake lapping. And that, I tell you what, somebody's got to look after this stuff. And so I'm going to hang around as the bad cop, if you want to And I'm going to jump on these guys whenever I feel like it. But I like giving people a lot of rope. Okay. That said, you know, it's a different thing when you do this as a business for as long as I have than like working for somebody. You get a totally different attitude. Okay, you do. And often I've noticed that people that have worked for somebody really don't want to do this stuff when they retire, but people that have done it for a living just kind of can't let it go. I guess you want to do the fun stuff you weren't able to while you're trying to pay the bills. Now, on that note, thanks for the donations. I hope to get more. I need a new GoPro camera. This thing has literally fallen apart. I should have the sound up. I got a microphone donation. Fantastic. I want to mention that I got a computer and a faceplate I got tucked down here for Bill. And those are fantastic learning tools. And I got much to do with those things. And this old system of doing things, rather than being the shake and bake machinist of the day, buying carbide inserts like a dandy on the internet, then pretending to be a machinist. Now that's harsh, isn't it? But that's what some old people do think. I think different things, you know. You do what you got to do. But, you know, you got to make your own tools. Come on. Okay, come on back and we'll make tools and we'll do some of the more difficult things. Thanks for the donations. Hey, if anybody's got a GoPro 9 or later that works, send it to me, okay? I'm going to have to buy one, and I buy stuff used. The computer I got used, and I don't mind used stuff. If you got stuff kicking around that you think it might be a good deal to sharpen or whatever, send it to me. But no machines, okay?